Oh my goodness. Do you know how long it's been since I've uploaded my last video? Me either. Anyway, as most of you can read, I'm hoping I've titled this something along the lines of the play it is a dumb idea. This will also kind of be my playoff predictions, but it's going to be mostly me telling you why I think the play-in is genuinely the stupidest shit of all time. Alright. So many of you know how the playoffs works. 7-game series, 1-8, they play, 2-7, they play. And those are the only teams we're going to talk about right now, alright? Obviously, from the rest of that, you should be able to tell who's playing who, right? 4, 5, 3, 6, right? Alright. So, the play-in tournament, basically, is a way for 10 seeds of each conference to advance past the regular season, right? Which is technically the playoffs, but not really, alright? The 9th and 10th seed play against each other. The winner of that game goes on to play the loser of the 7th and 8th game. 7th and 8th play first, and then that, alright? You see that? If the 7th or 8th seed wins, they become the 7th seed for the entire season, and they play against the 2nd seed. In this case, we're going to only really be talking about the East and the Brooklyn Nets, because I think whoever gets matched up against the fucking Phoenix Suns is dead in the water already. There's no way in hell to beat the Phoenix Suns. That's just not happening. They're the best team in basketball currently. And then the Timberwolves are matched up against the fucking Grizzlies, and I hope the Grizzlies beat them. Especially after Cat's terrible playoff performances, I don't think they'll be good. Alright? Alright. 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 Now, why do I think the play-in is fucking stupid? Alright. The reason I think this, and I think it's fairly obvious why everyone else should think it's dumb, is the 10th seed is playing against the 1 seed, right? That's a chance. That's a thing that could happen. That's not going to always happen. It's most likely not going to happen every year, right? It's probably not going to happen most years. Why do I think this is dumb? This also has something to do with, I don't know why this has been such a common conception in the NBA community, that the regular season doesn't matter, but it fucking does. Alright? If for 82 games, if it's not really close, which I think the play-in should literally only happen if the seeding is really close. And even still, I don't think it should fucking happen, because you have 82 games to make this shit happen, right? 82 games. I don't care if your favorite player or a star or whatever is not playing all those 82 games. That should still leave them around 6 or something, right? So basically, only the top 6 teams are actually guaranteed a playoff spot. Because the 7th and 8th seed get fucking shafted in this. Also, I'm just going to do some math for you really quickly. There are 30 teams in the NBA, right? I'm going to take everything after the regular season, and I'm going to consider it the postseason, right? Because you have the preseason, right? That happens before the regular season. The regular season, which is the season. And then the postseason, which is the playoffs and the play-in. For my argument, obviously. So, 30 teams play through the regular season. 20 teams make it to the postseason. And why do I say 20 teams? Because in each conference, the top 10 seeds make it, and they play in either the playoffs, if you're a top 6 seed, or the rest of those 4 remaining teams, 7, 8, 9, 10, play in the play-in, which is the postseason. Now, look, it's not always been, the play-in is a relatively new thing, and it's really to, stop tanking. Which, again, I don't have a problem with tanking in the slightest. I think tanking is fine. If your team wants to do that, tanking is not going to make your team better anyway, right? And if your team wants to tank for a seed, bro, whatever, bro. I'd rather you tank than being fucking permanent mediocrity like the Pacers had been until now, right? Like the Kings continue to fucking be in, but they're the Sacramento Queens, so no one cares, right? Why should 2/3 of the league make it to the postseason, right? I don't think that doesn't make sense, right? At least in my opinion. There's 10 teams in each conference that make the postseason. There's 10 teams overall that don't. There are 2 different conferences, so that's literally double the teams in the postseason as opposed to the ones that didn't make it. That doesn't make sense to me. Or I get it, right? But like, that's kind of redundant, ridiculous. I don't think it really matters. And this has a lot more to do with what I'm about to say next. The teams that are in the play-in, let's be honest. Outside of the Brooklyn Nets, a team that makes the play-in is not contending. And the only reason the Nets right now are also contending is because they're about to play the fucking Boston Celtics, who used to suck, and they finally figured it out. Fuck the Celtics. I'm a Cavs fan. I hate the Celtics. I will be honest with you. I can acknowledge what they're doing is really admirable, but they're missing Robert Williams right now, which gives the Nets their biggest chance to upset them. Just seeding-wise, a lot of people have the Nets as, the dominant force in the series. And also, if the Nets lose, people are going to either... I really can't imagine how people are not going to be smoking their pack, but yeah. So, think about it. When is a team that's in the play-in actually competing? They're not. We have 7-game series in the NBA for reasons, right? Because one game isn't enough to prove anything, right? Or at least most people think that. Because any team can be beaten at any night. The fucking Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant had losses on their schedule, and it's not just because, they didn't fucking play that night. It's because the other team in that one game just played better than them. Just straight up. Or if they didn't just play better than them, there were other circumstances. But still, those circumstances don't matter. They don't. If your team lost, your team lost. And if your team won, your team won. We have overtime for a reason, right? We don't have any ties on our schedule, right? If there's ties if the seeding is really close, right? Let's say all of your teams win the same fucking games. We have tiebreakers for a reason, right? So, I don't think it really conventionally, it doesn't make sense conceptually. Because we already have something that makes the regular season matter. And also, the statistics back it up. The regular season does matter, and the reason the regular season matters is because most of the teams that win, and I went back in history and I've checked, are the top 3 seeds in either conference, right? Those top 6 teams in the NBA, theoretically they're top 6 teams in the NBA. Those top 6 teams matter. They win. Traditionally speaking, those are the teams that are going to win. It's most likely the first or the second seed, right? And then the third seed has a good history, and then there's everyone else, all right? Let me just show you this really quickly, and I don't have to fucking pick up the statistics or whatever. I can just back it up. You can Google it, and you can fact check it afterwards. Last year, the Milwaukee Bucks were the 3rd seed in their conference. They won. The year before that, the Lakers won, and they were the number 1 seed in their conference. The year before that, the Raptors won, and they were top 3. I think they were 2. I'm pretty sure they were 2. They were not 4. They might have been 3, but either way, that doesn't matter. The year before that, Warriors. The year before that, Warriors. The year before that, the Cavs, who were, I think, the 2nd seed in 2016 in their conference, because either way, 1st or 2nd. The year before that, Warriors. You notice in the pattern? This means the regular season does matter. So, and by the way, the last team that, wasn't a top 6 seed in either of their conferences. Basically what I mean is top 3 in either of the conferences, I think was the Rockets. Because I did all the way back to the 1995 and 1996 season. So yeah, the Rockets. The regular season matters, which is my secondary point in this video. And also, regardless, I think whatever team gets matched up against the number 1 seed is going to die. They're going to get shafted. And since the fucking 9th or 10th seed doesn't even have a chance to be the 7th seed, right? They have a chance to be the 8th seed, really, and barely scrape in, right? I never think I think the gap between the 8th and the 9th and 10th seed this year was noticeable enough whereas though we didn't need to do this, right? And I think if we're not going to do the 9th or 10th seed game, then why do this fucking 8th or 7th game? Because they're already basically locked in, right? So why do the play-in, right? I think over West it was close enough whereas though it actually mattered. With the Pelicans and all that. But ultimately, whoever gets matched up against the Suns is getting shafted. They're going to lose, right? Wouldn't it have just been better to not make the play-in and just, like, tank, right? You have less wins. And your seeding is going to... And I think the NBA's draft relies more on your seeding than wins. I know it used to be where those were the exact same thing anyway. But it's not anymore with the play-in because overall you're going to wind up at the 7th or 8th seed. The regular season's not going to... They're going to make the thing based on that, right? So, your picks and stuff are already luck-based anyway. The draft isn't even the best place to, like, improve anyway. So why am I making the argument that the regular season matters and therefore you should tank? And therefore maybe your team shouldn't tank or whatever? Tanking is still something that's going to happen. I think the extreme version of tanking is what the play-in is ultimately trying to eliminate. But the play-in is not the way to do that. I think the play-in needs to be changed or tweaked for only 3 teams need to be in the play-in. I think the fucking 9th seed should have to win 2 games, right? I think the 9th seed should have to win 2 games. And I think the 7th seed should have to lose 2 games to be knocked out of the fucking playoffs. That's... it's dumb, right? I think the bracket should work a little bit more similar to how it worked in the bubble. I think... I can't really remember how it really worked in the bubble, but what I pictured was 7th seed just gets in because the 7th seed plays a game. If the 7th seed wins, they just remain the 7th seed, right? If the 8th seed wins, they become the 7th seed. The loser of that game plays against the 9th seed. 10th seed should not be fucking involved. I don't think they matter enough to be involved. And that loser of the 7th or 8th game plays against the 9th game. The 9th seed. Where the 8th seed will be home court, because that makes sense. The 7th seed will also be home court in this situation. And they play against the 9th seed. And if they lose, they're out of the playoffs. Right? I think it's dumb that the 9th and 8th seed even fucking play in the first place. Because even though I thought the Hornets could win that game, Trae Young ate them alive. That's for real. Trae Young has more postseason experience. And, like, he's just a better player than LaMelo right now, so I don't really... they won. They had the better player, they won. That's how that works. If you have the better player in a enough support cast, you're gonna win. Alright? My real problem with it is that it's a single game elimination. There's really no way to do it with it not being one. But, like, that's an issue. Alright? I also think it's kind of dumb because it's like, you don't get to adapt against the team you just played. You get to adapt against that, which is, again, is a single elimination problem. I think this would work a lot better in the NFL, ironically enough, because it's already single elimination anyway. But the first and second seed in the NFL get fucking buys. So if it happened there, I wouldn't care, because like those teams are already getting the bye anyway. So them playing is the advantage, right? I might record playoff predictions today. I might not. But yeah, we're making the 15-minute mark, and I'm not editing anything. You're not getting a thumbnail of this video. You're just getting straight recording and upload the video. And yeah, I think that'll be the style of these videos from now on. Obviously, I'm trying to get a better setup for this, because an iPhone 13, regardless of how good you think the camera is not good enough. The mic quality is not good enough. All of those other things and stuff like that, it's fine, but like, yeah, I want to improve. So yeah, I haven't really watched basketball in a minute. Especially for these lower season teams. I've watched basketball. Obviously, I've watched games for teams that matter. All right. But yeah, playing's a dumb concept. If you like the video, like it. If you don't like the video, like it anyway. If you hate my guts, subscribe so you can continue to hate fucking watch my videos. Yeah, 16-minute mark, made it. Bye.